So you have to be willing to listen to the empirical evidence. You have to want to make evidence-based decisions. You have to be able to get beyond rhetoric and heuristics in how you make a decision about how you want to spend the people's money. But if you are interested in making evidence-based decisions in governance, then cost-benefit analysis is probably the most valuable tool there is to help you do that. So cost-benefit analysis is a different way of thinking about the same kind of problems that we're being concerned about, in the crime policy world for years. We're concerned about how many cops put on the street, how long should people be sentenced for different kinds of crimes. And what cost-benefit allows you to do is to think about making decisions across all sorts of different important policy domains like policing, courts, and corrections using one method, because what you're doing is you're taking the results of all these different interventions and you're translating it into dollars so you can actually make a fair comparison across all those things. It's really the only method you can do that allows you to do that. So Washington State has this entity that the legislature created called the Washington State Institute of Public Policy. And what they did is they took cost-benefit analysis across a whole range of different policies and programs, everything from interventions with infants and youth to interventions with people coming out of prison, and did cost-benefit analysis across all of these things and rank ordered them, and then went to the legislature and said, look, if you fund these 6 programs that have the biggest benefit per dollar invested, you won't need to build the 2 prisons that you've got on the books to be built down the road. And so the legislature listened, took the funding from the prisons off the books, and funded the programs instead. In California, the budget pressures have become so intense that they're going to have to let people out of prison to save money. And we're not talking about a few people, we're talking about billions of dollars worth of savings. So somehow they have to make some decisions about how to prioritize who stays and who's released. Cost benefit's a perfect tool to do that, to look at the sort of criminal patterns of each person over their crime career and think about whose patterns suggest that they're going to be more expensive to the citizens of the state of California and who's going to be less expensive, and to focus the release on the less expensive people and keep the more expensive people incarcerated. Well, one major reason why it's not used as much in crime control as it is in other social policy areas is that it tends to be the case that the big beneficiary of any effective crime control program is the public, who then isn't victimized at the rate they would have been if we hadn't done this program. But the thing is if we put in place an effective program for returning prisoners, and you're walking down the street and you're not mugged, you don't know it. So it's really hard to make the case that an effective program has been effective. It's really actually not a very complicated process. I mean, cost benefit was born, sort of given birth by Benjamin Franklin, who talks about trying to make a hard decision and writing on this side of the ledger reasons for something and this side against them. And then when you run out of reasons, you want to put a value on how important each of those things are. And then you kind of add it up, right? And that's the essence of cost benefit decision making. And so what we tried to do in the book was really to make this really an accessible thing for people who actually are in positions in state and local governance to help do some of this analysis, to give legislators more information to make better decisions, to make decisions based on evidence.